Hey, what's up, everybody out there in the media, YouTube, internet, international, world scheme of things? It's Mr. Pound for Pound himself. It's going down. All right. Anyways, we're here today with my friend Mr. M2 once again
in the house.
And this is the post-fight analysis breakdown of the David Haye, Wladimir Klitschko fight that we saw July 2nd. And we're just going to give you our views. We're not saying they're the right views, but there are views about the fight. So, first and foremost, I gotta mess with Mr. M2 here and gotta say, I told you. I had a feeling it was gonna go down this way. What did you think? You saw the fight. Give me your views on the fight and how you felt about it.
Well, first things first, gotta, congratulate Klitschko for another big win. He did what he had to do. He stuck to the game plan. I thought that Haye had him beat, mentally before the fight started, but he proved me wrong. He went out there, stuck to the game plan, kept Haye on the outside, and won virtually every round.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I saw too. I mean, it was pretty classic Klitschko with a little bit of new Klitschko. He had a little grittiness in him. He could obviously tell he was a little mad. Still fought cautious though. Used his jab.
Stuck to the game plan, definitely.
But what about Haye, man? What about Haye?
Well, I don't really want to knock Haye too much. I think
I knock him.
I think he really did try to the best of his ability.
Not at all.
You just got to give credit to Emmanuel Stewart and Wladimir Klitschko for sticking to the game plan and really keeping Haye away. I mean, Haye landed some big shots, some big wild right hands. But
I didn't think they were that big.
But by the time they landed, Klitschko, he already saw him coming, so he could prepare for him much easier than, a good, crisp, straight shot down the pipe. And he never allowed Haye to get off that one big shot. So, much credit to them. They did what they had to do.
What do you think about, I got to agree with that. Klitschko pretty much did what I thought he would do, which is jab. And it's hard to get around a jab from a big dude like that, especially if it hits you. It's going to tire you out. And then, once he got hit, that big mouth got quiet on David Haye. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. What do you think about the attitude leading up to the fight? He talked all this mess. He tried to build the fight up like he was gonna do him like a Muhammad Ali Tyson thing. You know what I mean? And then he comes in there and he doesn't show. He's talking all this mess about Klitschko's this, his that, he's a sissy, and blah, I'm gonna wipe him out. And then he fought like that. What do you think, man?
I just think you gotta give the man credit. He really stuck to his game plan, kept Haye off balance all night long with the big jab and the right hand. He actually, threw the uppercut in there a couple times too, which is something that we rarely see out of the taller, bigger fighters. He just did a really good job of doing what he had to do, and Haye couldn't. It's hard to get in between those big arms, and fire away shots.
Not if you're Tyson, but let's go on to another subject. Here, let me bring something up that really bothered me. Okay, this bothers me. But David Haye, he's an Englishman or whatever. That's cool. But they're known for running their mouths. You know what I'm saying? They run their mouths just like, Michael Bisping and MMA. And these guys run their mouths, you know what I'm saying? And then they get lit or, they don't perform. And they got excuses. It kills me about David Haye is he want to talk. The first thing is, I don't want to make no excuses that, Klitschko's a good fighter. And I don't want to make no excuses. But then, you had your shoe off. You know what I'm saying? You had your shoe off. Post-fight interview, you knew you were going to use that for an excuse. I've never seen it before. Like, hey, dog, take my shoe off real quick. I'm about to have my interview. I want to show them my broken foot. Take it off. Hurry up, take it off. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that was definitely something that Haye should have just kept to himself. He should have just said, hey, I did my best. Klitschko, boxed and did his thing. won the fight, you know, you don't have to use any excuses. You know,
Yeah.
if you lose to a guy like Klitschko, I mean, hey, you know, that's not a bad thing. You know, I mean, the guy has won a lot of fights in a row. I mean, he's doing his thing right now, and you got to respect that. You know, I mean, it might be a bit boring and, you know, not as entertaining as people would like it, but you know, he's winning, and that's what counts. You know.
You know, if I was David Haye, this is how my interview would have went. Right, my interview would have went. They would have, David, how do you feel? But I feel all right. You know, it's hard to get around that jab. He's a bigger man. You know, I said what I had to say. You know, I got a nice little payday. I'm glad for him him giving me the opportunity. But instead, what did David Haye say? He was like, well, you know, I tried to box, and you know, under the conditions that I'm in, you know, I'm not in the conditions to win the fight. And like, what conditions? You know, you had no conditions before the fight. And after the fight, you got conditions. Say, well, you know, it's hard to box with the conditions that I'm in right now. And my shoe is off. You know.
Yeah, one toe threw him off that bad, but.
And let's talk about the falls or the wrestling here. I mean, I thought those were falls.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know, those were definitely in the game plan for the Haye camp. They knew that, you know, Klitschko has a history of leaning on the back of the neck.
Yeah.
And I think it was very smart on their side to say, you know what, as soon as this guy leans on, you just fall to the ground. Because if you sit there and you try to fight that weight and stay on your feet and lift your head up, you know, that's gonna take the legs away from you. I think it was smart in a way for them to do that. What do you think?
No, yeah, it was pretty smart. I mean, if it was a strategy, yes, it's very smart because Klitschko does like to lean, and I do think it's perfect. Just, you know, fall to the ground, save your energy, don't try to fight the weight, because when you try to go against the weight, it tires you out even more. But halfway through the fight, I think his legs were getting a little tired. He was over swinging, and then he kind of was falling, you know. And,
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
Well, you just gotta keep in mind, man. You know, that's a big man in there.
I know.
I mean, like it's almost like Shaquille O'Neal when he was in his prime. I mean, he was just beating people on the court just physically with just his size, and it just overwhelmed them, and they got tired. You know, and the same thing happened here.
Yeah, that's true. But any boxing fans out there, I mean, if you guys would just give a little analysis of your own, what should David Haye have done? I say he should have killed Klitschko's body. I mean, you got to risk something against a guy that big. You can't just stand on the outside. If you stand on the outside, you're going to get ate up all night. He should have went in and killed the body, correct?
Yeah, definitely body shots would have done, probably would have helped him out in the long run. You know, Klitschko's not really known for the stamina. I mean, we've seen him burn out late in fights. So, I mean, a little bit of body work, you know, wouldn't hurt. But, you know, much credit to him. He really did his thing Saturday night.
See, I don't think the Klitschkos are all that.
I don't think so either. But you know, they're doing their thing, man. We got to respect that.
They are, but this is. Anyways,
definitely not a fan.
They're all right. Yeah, they're all right. So pretty simple analysis, ladies and gents, and you know, people following my channel here. There's not much to say. It was a good big man versus a good small man, and the good big man prevailed with just basic boxing and craft and maybe a little bit of intimidation, I'd say. And I think David Haye gave us a good sales job.
Yeah, definitely. A little more mouth than fight on Haye's part, but you know, it's hard to get in there with a guy that size and really try to do some damage, you know.
I mean, if you're going to talk like Prince Nassim, at least put yourself out there like Prince Nassim, you know what I mean? David Haye, Haymaker Haye, I think he needs to go back down to cruiserweight maybe. He came in at, 213, and they said that was like, what, his heaviest maybe?
Something like that.
Somewhere, I don't care. But I just don't think Mr. Haymaker Haye has what it takes to beat either Wladimir nor Vitaly. And now, I mean, if they got the belts, that's who you want to go after. You don't want to just fight other heavyweights just to fight them.
Yeah, those are the guys. I mean, if you're gonna do anything in the heavyweight division, you gotta beat one of the Klitschkos, man. And I don't see that happening anytime in the near future.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Anything else, Mr. M2? You want to shed any spotlight on what your views of Haye, your views of Klitschko, where they're going, where this is going, the heavyweight debacle, I guess you could say, of these Klitschkos just holding the titles damn near forever. I mean, Granted, they're not in an era that some of my favorite heavyweights were in. I don't think they'd be. This is the thing that's gonna bug me about them when they retire. Their records are gonna be held up like, oh my god, look at the knockout percentages, look at their loss. You know, I think Vitali's only lost twice.
Yeah.
Vladimir's what, three losses?
Yeah, 3 losses.
I mean, if they quit, you know, then they're people based off their records are gonna say these guys are great, they were dominant. You know what I'm saying? But they weren't in a dangerous era of heavyweights.
Yeah, good point. I mean, not a lot of talent out there. You know, after Lennox retired.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it. I mean, no, there's no spark in the heavyweight division like when Tyson was there or Ali. You know, when these guys were doing their thing. It's the Klitschko era, and I guess we just gotta live with it. You know.
Yeah, it's the Klitschko era, and you're right. That's about it.
One thing I do want to mention before we go is the biased commentary from HBO is just sickening. You know. I mean, they're killing Haye. You know, the whole time. I mean, you just got to give credit to Klitschko. I mean, he did what he had to do. I mean, they totally went away from that. I mean, they're just like, oh, this guy, hey, he's been talking and he's not fighting, and you know, a lot of that has to do with Klitschko. You know?
Yeah.
A lot of that has to do with Klitschko. Yeah, they didn't give Klitschko any credit until the fight was over. You know?
Yeah.
And it just bothers me. It's getting to the point to where, you know, I'd rather watch a HBO fight on mute. You know, and just watch it with no sound, you know, because these guys are just ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah, they could be biased, you know, but I love them. I love Merchant, you know.
Oh, that guy is drunk every time he's on air.
I love it. I love it, and I want to hear more of it, you know. But no, definitely they can be a little biased here and there, but I don't know, you know. I think they're just mad at Haye, maybe.
Yeah, well, they're just pushing their guy, you know?
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, you know, they got to do what they got to do to make money, but it just gets sickening at a certain point, you know?
Yeah, they were a little too biased. I mean, they weren't really giving Wladimir credit.
Yeah.
They were shooting Haye more than giving.
Yeah. And a lot of that is because of Klitschko. I mean, look at all the other fights.
I think it's because of Haye. You know?
Well, just look at Haye's other fights. He's never fought like that, and that's because he was in there with a better fighter that night. And you got to give him the credit before you start killing the other guy.
I think Haye was, like I said, a job. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he definitely earned his money.
Faked the funk.
Well, not earned it per se, but he went out and sold the fight, and you know, hey, he got his money. You know, can't knock the hustle, man.
Look, man, I know Haye wants to stay pretty. He's not that pretty of a dude anyway. I mean, you know, kind of looks like a barely prettier Alistair Overeem, and Overeem's not the best looking dude. You know what I mean? But I mean, get in there, you know, get in there and throw down, get in there and scrap. Yeah, this is what you're paid to do. You're not paid to look pretty with your little braids and bounce around the ring and not want to get hit. You know what I mean? Get in there, get a black eye or two. Get a bloody nose, you know, get down. And if you don't win, you go out on your back. And if you don't go out on your back, you go out on a damn pine box. You know what I mean? Go out on a casket if you have to.
Yeah, well, you know, we can say that about a lot of fighters nowadays.
Yeah.
Especially with a lot of the pay-per-views, you know, they've been just, you know, boring as can be. So.
Well, we're going to leave it there.
Leave comments, let us know.
Yeah, most definitely. So this is what we're going to do. We're signing off here. There's not really much to say. Klitschko dominant over Mr. David Haye. Hopefully David Haye can come back. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pound for Pound signing off. Mr. M2 signing off. And we'll see you on the next one that we do. It's going to be Zab Judah, Amir Khan.
It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. We'll see you guys later.